come up to the microphone, please.
Smiles after a ruling by the highest court in the land. These relatives of troops killed in Iraq can now sue for damages. Relatives of men killed by roadside bombs while in snatched Land Rovers like this one say Britain's Ministry of Defence was negligent because it used vehicles that weren't fit for purpose. The father of Kirk Redpath, killed in 2007, says there are still lessons to be learnt.
Hopefully now the MOD will recognise that they do have a duty of care to supply the right equipment in combat zones. That's all this has ever been about. Because in the past you could literally give a soldier a broomstick and they'd have to get on with it.
These proceedings raise fundamental issues about the duties of care owed by the executive to servicemen engaged in active operations overseas.
The Supreme Court overturned a court decision last year that British and European human rights legislation did not apply to UK forces abroad when they were deemed to be off base. The British soldiers died in Iraq many years ago and their families have already been involved in a long legal battle. But they're hoping that today's decision at the Supreme Court means they will finally see justice done.
They've established that soldiers do not lose their human rights when they step on the battlefield. They remain within the UK's jurisdiction whenever they are on active operations abroad.
Britain's Defence Secretary argues the ruling could actually create problems for troops in future, saying, "I am very concerned at the wider implications of this judgment, which could ultimately make it more difficult for our troops to carry out operations and potentially throws open a wide range of military decisions to the uncertainty of litigation." But for Susan Smith, the legal battle goes on, so the death of her son Philip won't have been in vain.
Now they can't just get a vehicle out of mothballs when they go to war because they haven't got anything, but they wanted to go anyway. They've got to now look at what they've got. Hopefully they won't have to buy their own boots, they won't have to buy their own body armour, there'll be enough night vision goggles.
The family's claims will now go to a full trial, but whatever happens, the ruling could be hugely significant for future conflicts. Nadim, Al Jazeera, London.